Okay, the day is August 21st, 2023 at 6 p.m. It's a meeting of the Hanson Capital Improvement Committee. All committee members in attendance, Frank Malisi, Corinne Cafato, Edmund Heel, Kurt Tarvis, and Ken Sweezy. And we're going to start off with the first item on our agenda, discussion from Adam Valkovich from Parks and Fields. Go ahead, Adam.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, everybody, for letting me jump on the agenda today. I appreciate it. Trying to get an article. I do have an article on this upcoming October warrant, and I wanted to just kind of meet with you guys to see if I can get this project on the matrix as well, because it exceeds the threshold for capital improvement projects. What we're trying to do is replace the infield mix on all of the baseball and softball fields in town. I can get into discussion points if you guys want to ask questions, but basically that's the gist of it. We do have a company that has already given us sort of baseline pricing for RFP purposes, so when it goes out to RFP, I can sort of put pricing down. But essentially what we're trying to do is get a better mix for safety concerns, cosmetics, and honestly, we've been doing a pretty decent job of renting the fields, but with a very limited budget that Parks and Fields has, renting fields would be almost our primary source of income, along with the bottle and can room. So this would go a long way to giving me the ability to sort of rent field space to AAU programs, Legion programs, competitive tournaments, both on the softball and baseball side, right? And really that's it. That's the gist of it. I did fill out the form. You guys are welcome to look at it. There's really not much to fill out because it's a one-time spend item. I did confirm with Lisa, the town administrator, that this will be coming out of ARPA funds, okay, the few that we have left, so there's not really any town implications in terms of cash. Yeah, thank you, Ed, you're right.
How much you have?
The total scope would be 125. And we'd probably start the project in August of next year and complete the project in August of next year. So it'll be FY 25 at that point. 25. Yeah.
But you did present to the select board, and the question I had was, if they were to move the fields in the near future, what does it do to the 125,000? And you mentioned that the product is movable.
Correct. Yeah, we can repurpose it to the if McQuan project goes through and new athletic fields are built, we can certainly move that infield mix over to McQuan. And in actuality, I made sure to put that in the article, the explanation as well, so that way nobody would be confused. This is 100% a one-time spend thing. It'll go a long way for our sports programs.
And I think this basically brings our ARPA funds close to
the end. Yeah.
When you say, because I don't know anything about the fields,
yep,
you rent out the fields to
correct,
other groups.
Yep.
To help pay for whatever.
Yep. Field maintenance. Yeah. So basically, any sort of town entities obviously can use the fields for free, right? So Little League, Women Hanson use softball, soccer. Anything along those lines. Any outside for-profit organizations do pay a fee per game or per day, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Yep.
And Adam, what is the projected lifespan?
In perpetuity, right? So this will essentially last forever, with the exception of a minor amount of infield mix. We'd probably have to add a year, right? So you guys been at the high school field? Probably a yard or two per field we have to add, but you're talking like $50, right?
Yeah,
$60 versus
just basic preventative maintenance.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is something that most fields now in the area for this type of use already has or is going to.
Correct. So if you've had kids or grandkids or nephews, cousins yourselves, coaching, that sort of thing, have been to Duxbury, Situate, Cohasset. I'm naming big money your towns right now: Hanover, Hingham, even Pembroke next door. They've gone to this sort of native premium mix, which is a clay, dirt mixture. But what it does is it essentially blocks the sun from getting into the dirt. Which, if you guys have been at the Robinson Street field at all, you see the weeds come up almost immediately. Like, we spend $7,000 in that field, and within a week, it's gone. The weeds just go right through it. And unless we take manual tools, like one of those hoes that you can dig underneath per weed, by the way, not like per square foot. Yeah. That's the only way to get it out, and it just regrows. Unless we could technically spray it with some sort of weed killer, but kids play on these things. We can't do that, right? We have to adhere to conservation and obviously those sort of things. So, yeah.
So, question for you. So, you want us to put this on the October special town meeting, right? You don't want to wait until next. You're not looking for approval for May. You're looking for approval for October town meeting, and then just spend the money.
Correct. It is on the October town meeting warrant already. Okay. I mean, and the timeline's sort of variable, in flux, right, Frank?
Yeah.
So, if the company can do it in FY 2024, which is why I put on my sheet 2024, we'll do it in 2024. It's just a lot of these companies are very specialized in this stuff. So it could trickle over into that
Okay.
August.
So you have another article already so you have one in the matrix, right, for this? Okay.
I think there are multiple high value
Okay.
articles in there.
Okay. So
I believe the other ones aren't there.
okay. So okay. I have no problem. I personally have no problem with this. I do have a problem with people putting in articles outside of the capital improvement because I didn't get. So that's going to have to be addressed with the select board. I can talk to them about that because anything over $35,000 that hits the capital improvement, and this is not this is not against you.
I mentioned
right?
it at the meeting.
Yeah.
And it was,
So
If you wouldn't, not to interject, but I did talk to Laura about this and meeting with you guys. You guys just, I couldn't get on that agenda
That's completely
prior
fine.
to meeting with them, and that was the only reason.
yeah, no, that makes sense. No. So I mean, it's like I said, whether the meeting article is on your particular
Yeah.
article or it's in the capital improvement, it's.
so are you suggesting that we remove the articles from the warrant?
I'm suggesting that this should be on the capital improvement matrix that we give to the town.
And his article that is on the warrant should not be on the warrant?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we keep his wording
Explanation?
somehow? Like, there's a lot of good information in
His explanation can go on at the
Okay.
end of the cap, and we'll be discussing that. If you guys look in the packet, you can see a template of the draft warrant that we have for capital improvement. So under here, one of the lines, the explanation. So essentially, we would put Adam at 1 or 2, whatever, and the explanation for it would be here, and it will have the same explanation. It's essentially be
Same
a
thing.
warrant article, but we want to get and just to preface this because we are being recorded, we want to get out of the practice of having capital improvement items on their own warrant articles. We want to have them go through this committee, be listed on our article, and then we can go through and do it that way onto the matrix.
So most of the text of the warrant article, or the good part of the text, can...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we're going to keep it all on
can just
here.
be moved from one place. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you want electronic copy from... Do you have the most latest? Or
I submitted it to Lisa. I don't think she changed much at all. Yeah.
So if you're okay with that, right? What I'll do is I'll take your article that you have. I'll add the line item here if the committee votes that way. We'll add your explanation here for it,
Sure.
right? And then you'll have as the funding source, we'll put ARPA instead of free cash, right? And then we can do it that way. But okay. So and you also want this, so on the matrix itself, just for clarity, I'm going to go a little out of order. The middle school fields, are those done?
No,
Okay.
the RFP is set to go out Wednesday of this week, but
Okay.
it will be done by the end of October of this year. It's that
Okay,
fast.
okay, great. So and then this will be fiscal year 24, but could happen earlier, right? So I'll put this on the matrix as 125 for
24. Yeah.
100, yeah, so I'll put it in for fiscal year 25.
I put it for 24.
24?
And that way, if it needs to be pushed, I
Okay.
guess, yeah,
Okay.
error on the side of.
Okay, that makes sense
That
to me.
works.
Yeah, that works. Okay.
Sorry, so again, for clarification, that 375 that's listed on there right now is also going in the same fiscal year?
That was, yeah, so, yeah, that's going to happen in the next month or so. Yeah, that'll be FY24 also.
Yeah, and that was approved at last town meeting, and that was using with CPC funds, right?
CPC funds.
So that was just more of a formality. We didn't even have that in our article. That was a CPC article. We just have it in our capital matrix.
Yep. Just making
So-
sure, because if, obviously it's going to have 2 lines then with a total on the matrix for 24 of almost 500.
Yeah,
So.
correct. Yeah, and if that question comes up, then Adam can get up and say, well, the
It'll
three.
be easy to say it's been approved, paid for, it's already done, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Adam? No? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve Adam's application for capital improvement for the infield
Conversion, mixed conversion?
mixed conversion for $125,000 to go on the special town meeting warrant. So moved. Okay, I have a second. Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Fantastic. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Adam.
you guys.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we will go to Gideon from the Whitman Hanson. If you don't mind, I'm going to move over here. It's not
Yeah,
for you.
no
It's
worries.
just-
Little space.
yeah. Okay. So Gideon is here from the Whitman Hanson Regional School District. He's going to go over some of the articles that he has for the technology spends that were requested last town meeting but did not go through. Just a reminder, last town meeting, at a meeting that was just 3 members at that meeting. We voted 102 to approve the technology budget for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District. The select board then stripped them out because of the assessment for the school district. Gideon is not I would imagine you're not the accountant for the school, right?
No.
Okay, so he's the technology director, right?
Correct.
So we'll ask him the questions about that, but I don't want to go off course and ask budgetary questions from the school district, okay? Not like it would happen anyway, but
Right.
go ahead.
Okay, so hi, everybody, I'm sorry. I'm Gideon Gaudet. I'm the Director of Technology for the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District.
How do you spell your last name?
Gaudette, and
Thank you.
first name Gideon, Gideon.
That's for the background check she's going to do on you.
Yeah.
Also the meeting
I hope I passed already. It's only my second year, and I'm sure you heard about our year last year with the network breach. So we're looking for a much smoother year this year. So in any event, your packet contains some information. The first piece is the warrant from last year, which we will have to redo because the pricing has changed. I think for the better, actually. So it's probably, I just wanted you to have that in hand as a piece of historical reference. This sheet right here is probably the best one to go off of because this reflects what's in the rest of the packet. Okay, and I try to organize it according to each article. So what are we doing? We are looking to replace network switches at the Indian Head School and the Hanson Middle School. And also at the Whitman-Hanson Regional High School. And we're also looking to install or replace all of the smart boards that are at the high school, the Hanson Middle School, and the Indian Head School. Let me start with the smart boards. The ones that are currently installed in the high school in Indian Head and Hanson are no longer being supported. They are 20 plus years old. The new computers do not cooperate with them. We just got all new desktop computers for all of our classrooms. So it is just time for an upgrade. We just wouldn't be using any kind of technology from 20 years ago now. What we did over the summer is we installed TouchView interactive panels. Think of it as a flat screen TV that has, it can connect to the internet, you can connect it to your computer so it serves as a display, and the students can come up and they can use a stylus and they can interact with that board. Okay, we were able to install all of those into the Duval School, the Conley School, and the shipment for Whitman Middle is caught up in Panama right now. I don't know if you've heard about this disaster. There's like 200 ships just waiting to get through the Panama Canal. So we're expecting those to be delivered on the 28th. So it's going to put us in a real tight bind. The ones for Whitman Middle are actually going on mobile carts, so we just have to take them out of the box and hang them.
Yeah.
Duval and Conley will be mounted to the wall.
And is that because, I mean, I don't want to get off track, is that because the Whitman Middle School? Okay.
Yeah, anything that's affixed to the wall would stay with the tear down, and these would be relatively new. We don't want to do that. So we went with mobile carts for those. Okay. So that's the TouchView interactive panels. It's just it's a Generation 4 device. They take up hardly any room in the classroom. Just the latest and greatest. Many area school districts have purchased these, which is why they're hard to get our hands on.
Yeah.
The network switches. If you don't know what a network switch is, I'm sure some of you do. Basically, it's a device that if you have a network drop in your wall where you plug your computer into, on the other end of that goes back to a network switch, and that switch kind of controls the speed of the internet and where it's allowed to go, etc., etc. We would like to replace a few switches in the Indian Head, the Hanson Middle School, and the high school. We have models called B3 and B5. They're at end of life. They're no longer being supported. So we don't want any vulnerability to get hacked again. These aren't being supported. If we have a problem with them, they won't entertain any fixes. They won't give us any solutions. There's no more updates to them. So this is imperative that we replace these.
What kind of switches are they getting?
The ones that we're taking out would be B3 and B5.
Are they Cisco or are they Brocade or?
That's a good question, Frank. They're not Cisco.
Okay.
But let me get you better information on that.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be greatly appreciated.
It's totally escaping me right now. It might actually be on the quote when we get into the packet.
Okay.
So it's 43 switches at the high school, of which you would be responsible for 39.4%. I think that math is still accurate, Frank. And then at Indian Head in Hanson Middle, it's only 8 switches total, so it's only 4 in each building. So that's a pretty low cost. It's a really easy project. Basically, we send the quote in, they send us the device, we unplug and plug, do a little configuration, and we're good to go. We did the same thing for the Whitman schools this summer. We're all done with those, putting those in. So it took us no time at all.
So for the Indian Head, I'm going to first talk about the 2 network ones.
Sure.
The Indian Head, you're mentioning 4 network devices, and for Whitman Hanson High, you're mentioning 43. What percentage of the network devices are being replaced in each of those? Is that, like, is there only 43 switches in?
Yeah.
So all of them in the high school are being replaced?
Yeah.
Are there only 4 network switches in Indian Head?
Yeah.
And 4
No, there's only 4 of the B3, B5.
So how many total are there?
Total network switches? I don't have that information with me. I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering when we're going to be, like, an aging
How
out.
often are we going to continue?
Yeah.
The ones that are in there right now that don't need to be replaced, my network administrator told me we have a few years on those. So it's my understanding that we have a few more years to worry about those.
I think basically we would like to know as a group and as a committee in advance, or is that,
3 years,
3
5
years,
years.
4 years, 5 years?
With technology purchases like this, with network switches and technology in general, right? They don't really give you a 3 to 5 year ratio of how far it goes out and ends of support, right? So what they usually do.
But he knows when there's going to be out of support.
Well,
the ones they've got in
the
India.
manufacturer should tell us, and the company. Yeah, they should.
So yes, but there's also being out of support means that you just have to buy support, not necessarily that they
offer
won't
it,
support it anymore, right? So
and basically, what does Hanson do as far as that goes? Do we tend to purchase new when we're out of support, or do we tend to get extended support, like Frank is mentioning, which tends to be more expensive per year for the maintenance support?
Yeah, you have to go out and look for it. The company that supplies these, they're just like, we're done. We're not touching these. We're not
So
gonna,
for these 4, they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
So
Yeah. So right now we're rolling the dice. Right now, if something were to happen to one,
We're
we would have a
Gotta
switch
figure
go
something.
down, which would take down a whole wing of a school or an office or whatever's plugged into it, cameras,
right. Yeah, then you try to
door
figure out
locks.
who's more important.
Yeah. So, luckily it's a small number. So I don't think the cost is going to be too harsh at this time.
So it's kind of unfortunate because I go through and what I do in my job is I look at technology quotes like this all the time because I'm a systems engineer, right? Two things that stick out to me. One thing is you guys are only buying 1 year's worth of service on this for software and tech, right? You guys can get a better price if you go 3 years, right? So right now you're paying $345 a year for each switch, right? If you go to 2 years, it might be $285 or so, whatever the number is, right?
Right.
So that's it's a bigger upfront cost, but in the back end you don't have to go every year and spend out that 1 year. The other thing is these $100 power cords. That's wild. I don't know what kind of power cords the Extreme Network guys are using, but $100 a power cord is pretty crazy if you look at it. That's just my opinion. I don't have experience with the Extreme Network switches.
Okay.
I do have experience with Cisco and
Yep.
Apollo and everything like that and all kinds of different servers. I've never seen somebody charge $100 for a power cord. So
Okay.
if you want to check back in on that, that'd be great because that'd save both towns damn near $6,000.
Are you suggesting have these already been purchased?
No.
No. Are you suggesting he gets another quote with that? For 2
No.
years?
So we don't have the time. If we want to get this on this October town meeting, I'm suggesting that we don't do that. But just because we approve it for, let's say, the Hanson Middle and Indian Head for the 4 switches, it comes out to $17,314, right? If he goes back and gets another quote and it comes out to $16,000,
Right, that's what I'm wondering. You're suggesting he goes out and gets another quote.
yeah, I'm suggesting you go out and say, what the hell is so special about $108 power?
Yeah. Yeah. We just asked for the bundle that would come with that switch.
Yeah.
Just to.
And this is PC connection, I would imagine, right? So
It's Gov connection.
Oh, Gov connection.
Yeah,
okay.
but they're not called Gov connection. They just switched to connection.
Same company?
They just renamed. I don't know why they renamed themselves.
Yeah, because they have different. Yeah. Okay.
They were Gov connection. Now they're just connection. But
Yeah. So
we do a lot of business with them. They're pretty good with getting us decent quotes and the delivery's relatively quick. But I can certainly look into that.
Yeah, I would just be I don't. That just this. That seems like somebody's trying to get a piece right there. So anyway, beside the point. Is there any questions regarding these?
My only one is if they had or were giving you guys a projected lifespan or range of support for the new switches and new touch view panels that are going in, which I know is two separate things, but you know, you just said our smart boards lasted 20 years. Most technology, from my understanding now, they usually don't want you using it and supporting it for 20 years,
Yeah.
so did they tell you?
No.
Or is there a projected?
They didn't give us a projected lifespan on them, but it's not like a projector, so there's no light bulb in it. It's just like a flat screen TV,
Right.
so it should just,
Right.
minus anything going wrong with the firmware or software or anything, should just keep cranking along.
Right. And there's no limit, I guess, as of right now, of when they're gonna stop updating or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
no, they haven't told us anything like that. The ones we put into Whitman schools are the latest generation. It's an Android device. So that's a little tricky for most of our users because most of them are iPhone users. So some of the
Right.
menus are a little different, but we've got some training lined up. A couple of my people have gone out to Okers, which is the company that owns TouchView. I'm sure you heard of Okers as a company. I think they started off in typewriters in Brockton, and then
Nice.
they've moved on since. They actually went over to China and bought this company, so they own TouchView.
Okay.
So the supply is local. They actually relocated to Middleborough. Right now, it's just a shipping that's a global problem that is a problem getting these things. So, but my guys, I had 4 guys put up 2 schools worth in like 2 or 3 days for each school. So we crank when we get them in.
Okay.
So. If these were to come in, we would get them in the students and the teachers' hands really, really fast.
Yeah. And
Well,
then-
we have to work around school starting, so you have
Sure.
to work around
Sure.
vacation time now.
So I have the same questions about, are these all, these are, every touchscreen in these 2 schools or all the schools are gonna be new going forward?
Correct.
No, we're not keeping any of the old ones, so this is a total
It's a total refresh.
redone.
Yep, it's a total refresh. And you know, the teachers have new Chromebooks that we purchased last year when the network breach happened. They have new desktop computers this year. We just thought that having new desktop computers and new Chromebooks talking to a 20-something-year-old board that is funky at best on its good day is not going to work. So we really want to set the school system up for the future, at least the next 5 to 10 years. You know.
I can attest to those smart boards too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I have
No.
3 kids in the school district, so and when
Oh,
we go into
the old smart boards.
the old smart boards,
The
yeah.
same ones I would have used.
What's that? Yeah, I
I
know.
would-
Yeah, same
Probably
ones I
they're
probably
the
used
old- they're
too.
the old Promethean smart boards,
Yeah,
and
they
they're
went
just.
in when the,
Yeah, because I was one of the first
Yeah,
classes.
you and-
You should see these things, and the space. I mean, obviously technology gets smaller and more compact, right? But the space that it took,
That giant arm.
yeah, it came
Yeah.
out with a huge arm with a short throw projector, and this massive thing coming off the wall. This just sits flush against the wall. So the quote went down for the TouchView panels because the original quote we were going to do carts for everyone because we thought the elementary teachers would want to roll it to a different area. The mindset changed after all the town meetings happened, and they were like, no, we want it mounted to the wall. So you'll see in the quotes that there's only 1 cart for each building, and that must be going in the library. I don't recall exactly. I don't have that in front of me where exactly it's going, but the rest of them, my team would mount to the wall, and it's just literally throw up a piece of plywood. You get some bolts, and you find a few studs, and you're good to go. So. So you'll see the price of the TouchView panel is $1,919. The one stand is $489. Before the last time on this warrant, we had matching mobile carts to the devices. That's why the price was so high.
Okay.
So that number has come way down.
I'm confused. I thought a few minutes ago you were saying that, that was on the Whitman side. You got all they have more mobile cars.
Yeah,
In middle school.
because
Okay,
they're
never mind.
rebuilding
Yeah.
the middle
Because
school.
if that goes through, I'm not on the committee to rebuild the school building committee, but our understanding is if it's a fixed, like a shelf or
Yeah.
whatever, if it's stuck to the wall, you can't remove it.
According to who?
I don't. That's what I was told. I don't know if that's accurate.
It would probably, honestly, it'd probably be more expensive with union labor to get them off the wall
No.
than it would to
Well, yeah, you're paying prevailing wage.
Yeah, you're paying prevailing wage. Yeah, that's like,
So if they're on carts,
Yeah.
before the wrecking ball comes through, we're just going to wheel them out onto a.
No, I'm worried about like the network equipment and all the rest.
Yeah. Well, by the time
we're
that
not
gets,
doing,
yeah.
we're not doing the.
network equipment isn't union.
No, it isn't.
No.
No.
So you could pull out network equipment whenever you want. We have the same. I've had similar issues in the past too. Some people want you to, they want a union contractor to come in and unbolt the equipment, and then the IT people could take the equipment out. Prevailing wage, baby. Union. Love
Yeah.
it.
I mean, we could get those out of there.
Anyway,
pretty fast.
I'm not going to go on that
Yeah.
tangent.
Yeah, how's this recording going?
Doing my best to be quiet.
So it's weird because usually I'm the one that's like
Yelling
everybody's
at
like
us.
calm down, like this, don't get too crazy. I'm the one going off.
Frank, the
It's
union
been
buster.
it's been hey
call the
easy
scatter
there,
work every
easy
day.
there,
In minutes.
easy there.
So I think this math is correct according to the quotes. So the 8 network switches at Indian Head and Hanson were roughly 17 and change each. So the total for Article 1 would go to $34,628. Now, the original warrant, the whole total for the switch bundle was $36.96, and it's gone to $4,300 and something else. So there it is right there, $43,28.55. So that price has gone up because everything's going up in the world.
Right. Okay. So the total for all 4 of these articles, switches, touch boards for both of them, come out to $303,136. And you guys are looking for free cash to do that, correct?
I'm looking for any cash.
Any cash? Yeah, me too. Okay, so the only thing that I would say is that we'll probably do that. So all of these hit, with the exception of Article H1, but we can still add that to the matrix. The only thing I want to do is add these to the capital matrix if the committee approves them, just so we have them all in the same department line here, and everybody can see it. And then at that point, I would request the select board to remove these individual articles from the warrant.
Are you looking for a motion?
I'm not looking for a motion just yet. I'm just clarifying with him what I would like to do.
So refill this out, Frank?
No.
No.
No. You're good. You're good at this point. You guys already have it. It's the same thing, just different numbers. But once it essentially what that form is for a new request that comes in.
Oh, okay.
That's the matrix over here. So I'm just letting you know that's going to be that's what I would do if the committee approves these articles. Is I'd essentially ask to strip your articles from the warrant.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put these articles into our one matrix that we have here.
Okay, I
makes
thought.
sense.
Okay, I was going to go back to my business director and have him rewrite that.
No,
No.
I wouldn't. No, you don't need to rewrite.
Okay.
That. So essentially, what I would do is I would take the explanations that you have here and correspond them with the
With the new
appropriate-
numbers.
with the new numbers that they would be on here.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I want to get out of the practice of people going to the select board putting in their own capital items outside of this committee. It was an issue in the past because we only have a certain amount of free cash that we can use throughout the town, and the school usually did that, and so did every other department. So anyway,
Do you want to see the new quote if I go back to our contact at Connection and say, take off the power cord and we'll go to a third party?
I would be interested to see the new quote when you say that, and then you ask them for either 2 years of software support or something like that, because it might balance itself out. You might get to the point where each of those switches you tend to take off the networking, or I'm sorry, the power cords, but then you can add a second year of support and it's the same price.
Okay.
Something along those lines. And if you have any issues with that, give me the rep's number. I'll call her.
Okay.
And then so
Regina.
yeah, I know who that is, oddly enough.
Do you really?
I know exactly who you're working with.
Yeah.
So,
I just had a question about, you were talking about the Panama thing.
Oh, boy.
That's where the touch screens are?
They're on shipping containers.
So they've been ordered.
Oh yeah.
So the
not for us.
No, for Whitman.
Only for
The Whitman, we put in
Middle school.
Correct. We
I
installed.
thought you were saying Whitman.
We got all our
Hanson.
Duval ones. We
Okay.
got all our Conley ones. Whitman Middle School is obviously bigger, so that was a bigger order. Those are the ones that are hung up right now.
So this is a good point for clarification, because we had this discussion back in May about what happens when Whitman approves capital items but we do not. Right. So essentially, what happens is that if Whitman approves the high school and then we don't approve the high school, from my understanding, you guys don't buy anything.
We didn't buy anything for Whitman Regional High School. No.
So the high school, nobody bought anything, even though Whitman appropriated the money for the touch screens and the network switches. They wait for us to go through and approve the money, and then they'll buy it all in bulk. But for each of our individual schools, the towns have the appropriation. They can just buy it whenever they want. So Whitman Middle, Duval, things like that, they have their touch screens, they have their network switches. But Indian Head and Hanson Middle don't,
Okay.
not until we
Yep.
approve the money.
Okay.
That was kind of a
Yep.
center of discussion last in May when we had this discussion. So, okay, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
What's the motion?
Yeah.
You gotta make the motion. Okay. So let me. I will entertain a motion for the following: replace 8 network switches at Indian Head and Hanson Middle School, totaling the amount of $34,628.40. I will also add to that touch view panels at Indian Head Middle School, totaling $131,470. Replace 43 network switches at Whitman Hanson Regional High School for $73,334.29, and then touch view panels at the Whitman Hanson Regional High School for $63,703.89. And I will add those, and with that motion, I would like to add them to Article 5 of the special town meeting warrant, if accepted.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank
Awesome.
you guys.
Thanks, Gideon.
We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
for
much.
putting all
Sorry.
this together. It was very
Yeah.
easy
Yeah,
to
this is-
understand.
Yeah, I thought that was, well, I needed to understand it too. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's just a lot of numbers flying around, so.
Yeah, no, this is
It
on, and on,
really
really
to
helps
organize it in
yeah,
my
on a
head.
side note, right? On a side note, you know, one of the big things that the town scrutinizes a lot is the school stuff. So having information like this
This
that
is big.
Very helpful.
is very, very helpful. You know, a lot of the departments that we work with, they want 25,000 here, something here, but essentially every time the school comes to us with a capital item, it's our entire capital improvement budget.
Yeah.
So, you know, $303,000, that's our entire capital improvement
Yeah.
budget for
It's-
1% of the budget. So this is super helpful.
Well, it's very
I
helpful
appreciate
that you guys are helping us out with this. It's huge. I think we'll get it done as soon as possible. We would if we get them, and we would look at Christmas vacation, February vacation. High school is going to be really hard to get done because it's so active all the time. We're probably looking at a summer install next year, but we'll see if we can squeak some in during the
My
vacation.
kid's got 3 years, and my oldest one's got 3 years until he had high school anyway, so you can take your time. Yeah, take your time on that one.
Were these mine? I'm sorry.Ere these mine?
No, they're for Joe.
Yeah, you,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you
This
keep
is
those,
this is
yeah.
staying here. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you
Nice
very
meeting
much,
everyone.
Gideon.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, this has been invaluable.
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second.
That's all right.
Okay. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll skip past, we'll table 2 and 3 for right now. We'll go to number 4. CIC discussion around October special town meeting and vote on the town meeting article if needed. I put the if needed in there in case we didn't have anything to submit. So we obviously have things to submit. So right now the articles are, or the article line 1 is Parks and Fields. I don't even know how to say that. What was it? It's not turf anymore. It's in-ground.
Yeah.
Infield mix.
Infield mix, thank you. So line 1 is Parks and Fields infield mix for $125,000 coming out of ARPA funds. Line 2 will be the 8 network switches for Indian Head and Hanson Middle School for $34,628.40. Line 3 would be the touch view panels for Indian Head and Hanson Middle for $131,470. Line 4 would be to replace the 43 network switches for Whitman Hanson Regional School District, or a high school rather, for $73,334.29. And then line 5 would be the touch view panels for the Whitman Hanson Regional High School for $63,703.89. So what I would look to have is a motion to accept that article as I just presented it.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Sorry, if I may.
Discussions after the second usually, but okay.
Do you want to second it first, and then we'll do
Yeah,
discussion?
second, and then we can do the
Somebody second
discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion, go ahead.
I guess then with the 5 lines, it's people could approve and not approve all these lines, and I guess we didn't ask about prioritization. I mean, he made it clear that all 4 things need to get done.
Yes.
But as far as what's available for cash,
Yeah,
What's
so,
that?
so are you
Total?
with that motion? Are you saying that that is your recommended prioritization? With the fields first and then the schools second?
no,
Okay.
no, that's not. No, I was just listing from the order that was there.
Okay.
I would almost do network switches, touch screens, fields. That's personally
Okay.
my
Yeah, do the
suggested
schools
order.
and then the
I think
fields.
as far as priority, that makes the most sense.
Right.
Okay.
But last meeting, I thought we had like 98,000 for October.
We do. That's a decision that the town's gonna have to make. So we have
Who has to make?
that the town has to make.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
if we only have 98,000, we can't pay for any of this. Am I
That's
incorrect in saying that?
kind of, because just if we have 98,000 left over in our budget, that doesn't mean we have additional free cash that we can't use. So
Okay.
we have 98,000. No, I'm not saying the town has $98,000 left. That's
Because
not what
we
I'm saying.
can-
No.
I'm saying that the-
98 is
In
what's
our
left
budget,
of our
we-
minimum 1%.
What's left of our left of
Okay,
our minimum
all right.
1%.
Yeah.
So the
So-
98,000 would go, you know, and if we don't
Okay,
use
Should
it,
and-
spend 98
So
or more.
yeah, we like in theory have to
But-
get through 98.
yeah.
So in the fields, he can get this through ARPA funds.
Correct.
So he's
That's-
not getting it from us.
No, it's not.
So
That doesn't include the 98?
No,
Correct.
Okay.
That's ARPA funds.
So that can be. Then I guess I'm confused, and I know I'm new to this. Why is he coming to us?
Because it's still a capital item.
Okay.
It's still a capital
All right.
item. And any capital item over $35,000, we should have it on our article for the
No
Right,
matter
okay.
where it comes
Right, it
from.
doesn't have
Okay.
to just come from free cash.
Okay, all right. So that
Funding sources.
would be approved anyway because he's getting the funds from ARPA.
Well, it may not,
Oh, it
because
may
some
not.
somebody
Unless people don't want to use the ARPA.
Yeah, so the
Oh,
only
okay.
exception to this rule is like CPC, and the reason why is because CPC has their own article that they have to put out anyway for CPC to get approved for funding. But we put like CPC articles on our matrix. We just don't put it on our article here. Go ahead, Kurt.
Sure. Now, for the fields, I know he going through ARPA for it, but you can approach CPC for that too, right? Ball field stuff falls under recreation, right?
I can't speak to that. I can speak to when Parks and Fields wanted to go get turf to the middle school. The turf was not CPC eligible.
Okay.
So I don't know if Adam spoke to them, but I know there is some limitations on what recreation is
Right.
actually considered there. CPC couldn't use artificial turf
Okay.
because that was one of the options that they wanted to do at the middle school. Something
Yeah, that goes
he
against-
can do regular field down there,
Right.
just couldn't do like art because that was the original idea to do artificial turf. I'm not sure if he went to CPC for that or not.
Just wondering.
He did a presentation at the select board a couple weeks ago. I didn't catch it. Did you guys ask that question about why
What's the question?
why you didn't go to CPC?
If Adam had gone to CPC. for fields.
Because it isn't building new fields. I think if it was building new fields, it went through CPC, because it's just maintaining them, CPC can't
Maintenance.
pay.
Because I think they went through, if I remember, they did, I don't know if it ever got approved or anything, but I remember being at a CPC meeting once where I think it was Adam was trying to get money for a fence to be fixed.
for the
at-
baseball field.
Yeah, the Voteri.
But that was new. That wasn't maintained. That was
It
ripping down
wasn't
the
the
fence.
fixing of a fence?
No, it
No,
was
it's putting in a
putting
new
up a
one.
new fence. So there's some very peculiar rules
Right.
about that. So
And I
you
know
know,
it's a state thing. It's
yeah,
not our,
it's not a CPC
Right.
committee thing.
Under-
I believe they
Understood.
tried CPC and were told no
Yeah.
for this one.
Okay, so let's talk about priority then. So the network switches, Ed, you said were top of the list.
That would be my suggestion.
Okay, so if does everybody agree that the network switches are top of the list for priority?
I,
But there are two of those, right?
There's the one for Indian and Hanson Middle. There's the one for the high school also.
grouping the two network switches together, I do agree that should be the priority. It's a security issue. It's the most important out of anything.
Yes.
They should be grouped together and not prioritized
Oh, I'm-
separately.
No, well,
They
we can't
have
group them
to be
together. They have to
Right,
be
they have
separate.
But I'm
Okay.
grouping it together for the sake
Okay.
of this.
They're at the top. Yeah.
You know, 1 A, 1B.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and then so not the second, but the third and fourth priority, because network switches are 1 and 2. The third and fourth will be the touch view panels.
Yep.
Okay. If you disagree,
I disagree.
okay.
Can you explain why? So that we can,
Yeah, no, I think it's more important to bring in some revenue, and I think the ball fields actually. It's just my own opinion. I'm anti-technology in a lot of ways. That's just me. That's just my own thing. It doesn't still a high priority.
yeah, okay.
But I would personally, just me, prioritize the ball fields more because that brings in revenue and can actually open up the town to new economic opportunity.
Okay, so what we will do is we will vote on each of the priorities individually then, okay? And if anybody disagrees, then we can move it up or down or however it sees, okay? And then so the network, we'll put the network switches 1 and 2, the touch views 3 and 4, and then the field 5, right? And
Within the individuals, I was thinking that high school is higher priority than middle school. I don't know. That's kind of a...
Well, I mean, I just hear from 3 particular teenagers all the time, and, you know, this year was kind of a disaster with all the equipment, and they're always going down for help or getting replacement. I call them notebooks.
The Chromebooks.
Yeah, Chromebooks, and then when they fix the old ones, they take the new one back from them. It's been a disaster, according to these 3 girls, teenagers that I know well. I just think, and to me, all the schools should be on the same plan.
yeah, no, I agree, but they have to. But they have to be 4 different articles. So I get
Right?
what you're
No, I
saying.
get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing that, you know, the fields will bring in revenue, but I mean, like, I'm assuming people would say take care of the high school first, and then the Indian Head, and then the Hanson Middle. Well, there's probably going to be a lot of upset people that you're not taking care of.
Yeah. There's not that we're not taking care of them. It's just that you've got to prioritize. And
But in the end, it really just comes down to, regardless of how we place it, right? Isn't it? It's going to come down to townspeople.
Right.
What
I
they
mean,
want.
as it
exactly.
should be.
and do we put it in priority order, or do we put it in the order you already mentioned?
No, we can put it. So we'll have to withdraw the motion, and we'll have to put it in priority order.
If only we had discussion before.
Well, discussion's been too long, anyways, right?
Yeah.
It's dead, anyways.
So, okay. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm personally pretty indifferent towards. I'm hoping that the town will approve it for both the high school and the
Yeah.
I hope it all goes
elementary and middle
through.
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm relatively indifferent if anyone has strong opinions about that, but yeah,
Okay.
I do not.
So, what's the time limit for motions? We
Is
will
it-
split
is
through.
it 2 minutes?
Okay. So, I've never withdrew a motion before.
I haven't either.
Well,
No.
can we just alter the motion?
You can amend it. Yeah, you can amend it. It's a pretty long motion to amend it, though. Hold on for another one. You can just,
I think we just do our best.
yeah, I'm just confused now. Okay, so
I don't have enough internet service.
so who made the second? Ed.
Ed.
Okay, so I think Ed has to withdraw a second,
I withdraw my second.
and then I think Kurt, you made the original motion. So
I'll withdraw the motion.
okay, so I will entertain a new motion to place line 1 as for. I'm sorry. I will entertain a motion for line 1 priority to be 8 network switches at Indian Head Hanson Middle for $34,628.40.
Right.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
What?
Okay.
Discussion, real quick.
Yep.
Don't those have to be separate? 2 schools? Aren't the network switches, or is it on here? Is it? I don't have
I
it.
think
directly.
They're
well,
on here
it's, so
together.
it's
As
one
long as
it's one
different
assessment.
from regional, it's fine.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
one
okay.
assessment for
Yeah,
for
yeah.
both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, not for the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so I have a second by Ken, and then I have I also have a move by Ken, and
Moved
then I
by
have a
Ken,
second
second by me.
second by Kurt. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so priority 1 is the 8 network switches at Indian Head Middle School, Indian Head and the middle school. Okay, I will entertain a motion for priority 2 to be the 43 network switches at Whitman Hanson Regional High School for the amount of $73,334.29.
So moved.
Okay, I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. Okay, I will entertain a motion add our third priority item as the touch view panels for Indian Head and Hanson Middle School in the amount of $131,470.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Okay, and then I will entertain a motion for priority 4 to be the touch view panels at Hanson, Whitman Hanson Regional High School in the amount of $63,703.89.
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. And I will entertain a motion to have priority 5 be the infield.
What was the term we were using for the field?
Infield mix.
Infield mix.
Field mix. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to have priority 5 as the infield mix for the Parks and Fields Department in the amount of 120. Was it 5 or 4?
25,000.
25,000. 125,000.
So moved.
So moved. Okay. A second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you. That was quick and painless.
God, it's freezing.
What?
You convinced?
Convinced about what?
The priority order?
Oh, no, I'm not. But it's fine. I'll still vote for it.
Fair enough. That's all that matters.
Democracy at its finest.
Yeah.
I don't
Precious
know how
of the
much our
answer.
prioritization.
I'm less concerned about the prioritization when it comes down to the townspeople on it.
Yeah. And it's a different so it really doesn't.
Yeah, and it is a different funding source.
Right.
So, you
it's
know,
gonna get passed.
yeah. Well,
Should
Well,
get passed.
it
Should
might.
get passed.
It might. Narrowing funds, it might not.
Yeah.
I had something like that last town meeting that I thought was going to be passed too.
For sure. It'll just, yeah.
I think
Okay.
we always wonder what's going to be the hot button
Yeah.
warrant.
Fortunately, last time we
It's
knew what
never
it was.
the right
so.
article.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is item 4. Okay, so let's go to item 2, which is a discussion on liaison to departments. I brought this up last meeting, and I thought it might be a good idea. I wanted to bring it back here so we can kind of get everybody's input on it. I was thinking about having different members of the committee be liaisons to different departments. You know, like for example, Ed could take, you know, highway or fire or something like that, and kind of going through there. We're not going to set officially anything here. This is just a discussion item. So yeah, interested in any ideas that people have.
A discussion about doing it, not about assigning them tonight.
Correct. Yeah, discussion about doing it, and then if we actually say, oh, you know, it actually sounds like a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Next meeting we can go ahead and assign, you know, liaisons and kind of go from there. So.
What is the responsibilities, the expectation? Are you going to be going out once a year, or once before each meeting and just talk to the people? Like, because you do a lot of the work right now as far as
Yeah.
sending the email and getting the information back.
I guess what it would kind of be is like, so if I had 4 departments, you know, come January after we have our first meeting of the year, you know, you could reach out to those. I'll still send out the email that I send out on a
Yep.
broader level, but you could say, hey, just touching base on the liaison for capital improvements. Do you have any questions about the forms? You need to do something.
Yep.
Do you have any funding questions or, you know, something like that? Kind of just helping them along the way. Because the one thing that I can't do is I can't take every town department and help them with every issue that they have in their forms.
Right.
And then most of the times when the issues come up to us, it's at that department head meeting, right? And we're going through and kind of,
I'll take the select board.
Well, we can't go there yet.
yeah. So,
I was counting the department.
so yeah, I mean, I'm more curious about what people think about it. You know, what, you know, if it's a good idea, if it's just like not needed, you know, that's completely fine. It's just an idea. So,
So
go ahead, Ken.
Are you counting 8 departments about? How many departments are you counting?
There's more than 8 departments.
There's like
I'm just
20,
looking at-
right, or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean, some
as
of them-
far as people that, I mean, I know there's more departments. I was looking at the
The ones that are actually asking.
one that are actually asking.
I would say we start probably with this list and assign it out as
there's
needed,
more of
right?
that.
So like,
Is it
but
a couple
there's also some, yeah, there's more than just the 8 day. You got quite a few. But you know, one of the things too is like, for example, you know, Kurt's on the historical commission, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need a liaison for the historical. He is the liaison, right?
Right.
I'm on the Camp Quaney.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you know, I'll be the liaison.
But you and Joe can fight it out.
And then you know, Corinne's on the
Right. So
on
we
the
basically
library,
would
so-
take the ones that we.
You take the ones that you
are
have, but
working
then
with
you
that.
also branch out. So you know,
Yep.
if you're
Yep.
interested in, you know, working with the police department, you know,
Yeah, I definitely personally like the idea. It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I don't think it's not that much work. It's just literally just sending some emails, making some phone calls, maybe visiting with a couple department heads, and just figuring out some paperwork for them. I don't think that's the end of the world or too much to ask out of us, and it takes some of the burden off of our wonderful chair, shoulders.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. I do need that.
You are our dear leader, so
Yeah, I try sometimes. Comrade, you call
we're
me
making a
comrade.
shrine for you actually out here. It's gonna be great.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually going to be torn down like Saddam Hussein in the middle of Iraq. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. Anyway, so we can go ahead and continue on. So, any more discussion about the liaison to the departments?
Do we need a vote on it, or
No.
No, we're
what
just
we'll do
having
is
a
we'll set
conversation.
next time we'll discuss
Well,
it?
should we decide not who's going to go to what, but do we want to go with every department that's on here? Are there any others that stick out, just so we kind of have a idea for next time coming into it, so we're not fiddling next time being like, oh, we just assigned this to here.
What
You know
I'll
I mean?
do is I'll get a list of departments.
Okay.
I will put a blank Excel row on the other side of it, and then we can go through and just write down who's interested in it, right? And there's no pressure, right? Some of these are going to be, more interesting
Yeah, I mean,
assignments than not. So, for example, like the Whitman Hanson Regional School District, right? That requires you to not only say, "Hey, where are your forms?" but go to their subcommittee meetings and talk to the chair from Whitman, from the capital improvement there to do that. And so things like that. I don't want to sound like I'm blowing up my own bubble here, but things like that. It's kind of more. I would say strategic to go if you're the chair, right? So like me, the chair reaching out to the Whitman chair about capital improvement items, right? Like that's one thing that kind of makes sense, right?
Right.
But
So if it was like the Nathaniel Thomas Mill Committee, chair doesn't need to go.
No.
no, but I mean I can. I have been.
No,
So
I know.
like,
But
it's
the
not.
point I'm making is that's
Yeah.
much less
Yeah, it's kind of it's more like
involved.
yeah.
Yeah, I think some of these, when we get that spreadsheet and discuss it, I'm sure half of them are going to say, okay, that's historical, that's,
Yeah.
okay,
So
you're
it'd be
already
like a
on the
snake
Conservation
draft, or-
Commission.
We could do snake draft.
Snake style
Yeah,
draft?
we can do
I
that.
don't know what that is.
Oh, it's
I'm curious though, so fill me in.
it's like fantasy
Both
football.
of you staring at me.
It's we'll discuss it next time. No, it's like so anyway. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll have it all laid out for next meeting.
Okay.
Put it on there, and then we can kind of go from there and figure out who's going to take what.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, I
Great.
have a question, just
Yes.
to be curious. If I said I would cover the fire department,
Yep.
how many meetings are you talking about a year?
Honestly, the fire department's probably one of the besides the town clerk, they're the easiest ones.
They're
because-
really good.
Yeah, they
Well,
they
I'd like to do the fire department. They're at my house on a regular basis.
Okay.
because of
So
my-
it's probably not the best.
fire department just offers the information.
Yeah, and it's
You
usually
don't
not the
have to
best
worry
time
about
to talk about capital items is when they're at your house.
No, I know.
What you got to do is about zero.
Yeah, no, they're because
They're
my
very good.
husband is ill, so
But
they
then
are.
there's two on the next page that would definitely be you, I would as well. Not definitely, but Council on Aging and Library.
Yeah, I would take care of.
Yeah.
those.
So
But we're not assigning that.
No,
we're not assigning. But you know what the thing is like it's also a good idea to you start to build relationships with the people that you're interacting with, right? So if you if you're interested in that committee, take the committee and kind of go with it, right?
Right.
So so I'll come out with that, and then we'll go ahead and do that. Is everybody in agreement that that's a good idea?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
I am.
Okay, great. So I'll put it on the agenda for next time then. Appreciate it. Okay, so we will go ahead and do discussion on the matrix. So we're just going to go through the matrix. We have a whole bunch of items in here for fiscal year 24 that we have to clean out. And then kind of scrap over to fiscal year 25 after the town meeting in October. So I don't know if we want to go through and strip those out tonight since they're already here. I know most of these items for 24 have already been funded.
That might be a good first job for, say, some liaisons to do.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, this is who I am, introduction, these things haven't been appropriated, you haven't actually really requested them, they're left over, is it okay if we get rid of these, or should we bump them out?
Yeah,
Do we know these haven't been
Politician.
appropriated?
What's that?
Do you actually know these aren't appropriated? Like protective clothing for the
So
fire
protective clothing has been done. The police unit has been done. Pickup truck and dump unit 6 have been done. The playground for the Cranberry Cove has not been done. I'll put that over here. 25.
Goodness.
Go with
You
that.
know,
Yeah, we don't like
you
to talk
would
about that
assume
one.
they would be
The nurse house renovation for 225. Is that going to be done in fiscal year 24?
Sorry, I didn't hear anything you
The
said.
nurse's house renovation for 225,000.
The nurse's building renovation will not be done, no.
Did you get funding for it? Okay, so Kirk can update that. Adam said that the 375 for the middle school field is going to be done at the end of October, so that will be done. The ADA ramp didn't get approved, so that can move over if he still wants to pursue the ADA ramp. And then the network switches and the touch views for Indian Head, Hanson Middle, and the regional high school, those are what we approved tonight, so those can be removed after the town meeting. And then the water department, they do their own
Right.
they do their own thing. So
So what was left? Is there still quite a bit left?
no,
No,
that's
we
it.
just went through it. That was almost nothing.
Oh, so there's
But-
nothing left that we even need
Actually,
to
there
ask
is.
about.
It's really nice.
No, the only thing that you really need to ask about is like you know, to the fiscal year and like no, but
To
no,
2025.
because this year for the department meeting we went through line by
Cleaned
line
it up.
for
Okay,
everybody and
sweet.
cleaned it up. So
Okay.
once fiscal year 24 rolls off and we have our matrix for next year, I'll strip 24 out and put 25 in, and then move everything over, and then we can kind of.
When do you do that, for the next meeting, or?
No, that'll be like January or so, depending on when we meet next. Actually, the next meeting that we'll probably have will probably be closer to the end of the year, so it might be the next meeting that we have. So, maybe.
Well, we'll need to meet to approve the articles, right? Before October.
No, we just approved those articles.
Right.
The last
Don't-
vote that we did, where we set the priority.
You don't have to type them up and us to review them?
I mean, I can send them.
I don't
Yeah,
know what you've done.
I don't need to meet you again if meet you again.
We could do a Zoom if we needed to vote, if there was a reason to vote.
Yeah,
before we put it
I
in.
thought
I mean,
once they
we've-
were. Yeah, I'm good.
No,
We could actually vote
No,
now.
that's okay. So
Vote.
bring up the point because the last item that I had on here was the vote on town meeting articles if needed, right? So that's when we set the priority last, like the motions that I made, unless I did them absolutely horribly wrong, I could have. Was to set the priority for
Right.
Article 5 for each of the items that were here.
Right.
So like Article 5 will be, you know, this right here, and the explanations that they gave us will be corresponding to each of the line items that
Okay.
are here.
So do we vote to approve that based on what you just mentioned? That will go into the warrant as,
Okay,
As written?
That's a good point. So
Yeah.
we can take that vote. So okay, so give me
A couple minutes here.
not a couple minutes. I'm not that slow, Kurt. Jeez, I will need Corinne to tell us what the infield mix
Infield
is.
mix.
Though. Thank you. There you go. Okay, so
We don't know where we'd be without you.
I can already envision it.
So if I'm not mistaken, so this motion would be to recommend Article 5 with our priority items, right? Is that what we're making right now?
I guess my
Because we don't
question-
recommend to place.
What's
we can't,
that?
We can't place it. We don't recommend to place.
the select board recommends to.
Right.
Select board
Place it.
recommends to
We
place.
just recommend that they visit.
So-
What you send to the select board is what we're voting for.
Well,
Yeah, because I guess my hang up was the writing of the actual article. So if we go ahead and just say we are going to use the words that they use for the explanations, then I think we'd be good.
Yeah, that's
And that-
that's
right,
exactly
right,
what
right,
we do.
yeah, that's what I guess
And
was
this, so
missing for
essentially,
me
what
in
I'm
my
going to
head.
take is this right here, right? Like this is their explanation that they sent to me. Oh no, I'm sorry. So this is the explanation that they sent.
Yep.
Right.
These explanations that they sent are the same thing that's going to be on the explanations for the line of each
Right.
line item.
Perfect.
Same thing with Adams too. So Adams is going to be here, and it's going to
Yep.
be.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're
bam, bam,
going
bam,
to
bam.
Yeah,
need
but we're
to
changing the order
wordsmith
here.
because there's
No.
duplication.
No,
There
no,
is
no,
not
no.
duplication.
I am not wordsmithing any explanation that they have.
Oh,
Just
because
do-
it's per a line item.
It's per
Never
line
mind.
item.
Right.
So
Okay,
what
never
they
mind.
wrote is
Yep.
what I'm putting on.
Never
okay,
mind.
all right, so.
Okay,
I-
I'm sorry if that
didn't-
didn't make sense.
Didn't we, in essence, then already agree to this?
We agreed to that priority, but I think what Ken's saying is that we didn't approve
Okay.
the actual article.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We need to approve that form
We need to
in the
approve this.
final form.
Right.
Once it's done, we're giving you the permission to send that on.
Correct. And what I will do is I will write this up tonight and I'll send it to everybody tomorrow or later on tonight with how it actually looks. And then obviously we can't delegate over that, but that's going to be the final form of what happens. And we can even, so that will be the final form of what it's sent to.
So don't respond to the email.
Don't respond to the
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it will be considered
Right. The only thing you're changing is the numbers
correct.
because this is
I'm changing the priority number. I'm not changing the amount that's being funded there.
the dollar value. So this right here
Yeah.
is from May town meeting.
The dollar value comes from the other form, the one form that he sent. The dollar value comes from here.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So just to be we just need to be careful.
yes.
You can't literally copy and paste the explanation because these are the dollar numbers from the spring.
Okay.
So like this value right here is 29,
I
but it's
see that.
actually 34.
Okay.
So the numbers need to be changed, but the explanation is good.
Okay, so that makes sense.
That's all.
Okay, nope, that's a good. Thank you for catching that.
Gotcha.
'Cause I would have right over there. So okay, that makes sense. Okay, great.
So I will, when I'm typing up the notes, I'm going to first do the priority, that motion,
Yep.
and then we have a motion for the form.
Yeah, to submit the article in
Yeah.
whole with explanations as given.
Okay. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
I have my moments.
Yeah.
That was great. That was
Thank
not
you.
bad.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Only if he did that on
Who
the
is
debate
second?
stage.
I did. That was the crazy
What
part.
was there a
Enough
motion out on
seconding?
this yet?
I'm moving.
I'm
No.
moving.
Wait,
Okay.
but no, you need more detail now. You can't just move. You can't just move that because you need to set. What,
No, I'm not
He just
physically
made the
moving
motion.
anything.
Oh, okay.
That was
He-
answering her just a question that she
No.
had. I haven't seconded no.
But Ken just really
No, he
said what
But
the
he-
motion is.
No, he didn't.
He
He
didn't.
kind of outlined it. So,
But it
so
wasn't-
Oh, okay.
repeat that.
Okay.
Motion
wanna
to
just
submit
finish?
article and
Just
hold.
make the motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to take any, gusto from our esteemed chair. So.
Dear leader. Dear leader.
The only reason I make the motion because nobody else makes them.
That's right.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the esteem. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I would like to motion to present the article to the select board with the priority that we previously set, with the explanations as provided from the departments.
And the
With the
Yeah.
new, with the new
So-
amended costs.
Yeah, with the amended numbers.
Amended costs?
Yeah, with amended cost. Yeah.
so moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
He made the motion, right?
Yes.
So do you move it?
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
And-
So Kurt seconded.
I'm
I'm-
hiring
I'm
a
out.
parliamentarian.
And then,
All in favor.
All in favor.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. We're very professional here.
Robert's rules or Frank's rules? What are we following tonight?
I can't even read. I don't know why you guys can't let me chant. Anyway, so discussion and vote on form changes. So there was just some discussion last time about the form changes that we have. We said we meet on it again this year. Honestly, we can push this off to January if we really want to. We don't have to discuss it tonight. But, just everybody take a look at the forms that we have, make any edits or changes to it that you want, and then fiscal year 25 comes up. We'll go ahead and implement the new forms if we vote on that.
Okay.
On
so
that
we're
note, are these
holding
online or
this
going to
till
be online?
January.
They are online.
They're also in your hand.
They're also in your hand, and then I will also email them to you as well.
Just as a note.
So I'll also email them to you as well.
It is.
Okay. Is there any other? Is there any other discussion?
Okay.
No. Okay. So okay, I will entertain. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, I have a second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, fantastic. Thank you.